You log into your savings account only to find there is no money there, wiped out, zero balance. What do you do now? Well, let's discuss a real world situation that a lot of people find themselves in with literally $100 million effectively frozen. Let's talk about it in this video as we explore. Wow, this is quite an issue and a story here. The money doesn't exist is what they're being saying. 85,000 Americans are locked out of their savings account, according to this piece from MoneyWise.com, as shared with me by Tony Erickson. This is quite a story, and I'm going to tell you how you can protect yourself. And there's some things that are mentioned in this piece, but I'm going to tell you about something else that you can use to protect yourself as well. And you're kind of looking at it right here, but that's not just it. But a high-yield savings account is supposed to be a safe place to stash some cash while earning interest. But that's not the case for thousands of Americans who found themselves locked out of their own accounts. Now, I want to correct the record here because you're not stashing and storing cash there. You're storing digital representations of cash. In fact, if you were to take out all of your money from your savings account, depending on how much it is, more likely they would have to order the actual cash to give to you to take it out. Since May of 2024, scores of bank customers have been unable to withdraw their funds, with more than $100 million effectively frozen, according to ABC Eyewitness News. That's right. And I tell you what, and you know the answer already, one of the ways to protect yourself is by holding precious metals. Now, the channel is sponsored by Summit Metals, and I'm putting their name out there just to consider when you're shopping around for precious metals. It's one way to diversify by holding precious metals, and they have been proven to be the low-price leaders, especially for gold eagles of all sizes, but also silver and other products that are very competitive, fast service, and friendly service as well, which is always a plus, so check them out. Now, Konstantin Tornokonitsky is one of these unfortunate bank customers. Using a fintech app called Yata, Tornokonitsky had been depositing money into his high-yield savings account, which is backed by the FDIC-insured Evolve Bank and Trust. The Yata app gives users an opportunity to win prizes by saving money, a feature that interested Tornokonitsky. You know, and the thing is that almost sounds a little bit shady, and by saving money, win prizes by saving money. But I don't know. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's a fraud here. I don't know. But it's one of the things, I've never heard of something like that. But that is interesting. Maybe it's the app and not tied to the bank. It was convenient. Tarnowski, I'm not pronouncing that right, shared with ABC Eyewitness News. There's usually a penalty with the high-yield savings. This one, as long as you had their debit or credit card, then there would be no penalty to withdraw money if you needed to use it. In a lawsuit filed against Evolve Bank and Trust, Yata claims that roughly 85,000 customers deposited money in good faith, but now they can't access those funds. Remember, Yata is the app that allows you to win prizes for saving. So anyways, the issue stems from a dispute between Evolve Bank and Trust and Yata over missing funds. Yata blames Evolve for withholding customer deposits, while Evolve claims the missing money is due to the financial collapse of Synapse Brokerage, which is a third-party service that facilitated transactions between fintech apps and banks. So already we're seeing 4 levels of counterparty risk here. Anytime there's a third party involved with anything, there's going to be risk involved, no question about that. And so, unless you have cash on hand, there's going to be risk even by holding a savings account directly with the bank. The FDIC insurance is nice and all well and good, but if you can't get the money right away, then it does you no good, at least in that time before it's resolved. If it can be resolved, hopefully it could. In its lawsuit against Evolve, Yata alleges that thousands of its customers have lost access to their funds due to the bank's treachery. Meanwhile, Evolve insists that Synapse was responsible for transferring money and that the funds are no longer in Evolve's possession. So Yata filed the lawsuit, although I'm still curious, and again, not saying this is exactly what it was, but how Yata can award people for saving, because I don't know where those rewards came from. But anyways, the location of the missing funds remains unclear, leaving customers increasingly frustrated. No one knows where it went. The money doesn't exist, Tarnowski said. It's not held at Evolve, so they did an audit of their transactional logs, and they're saying that the money doesn't exist. It's just gone. Poof. Crazy. Some customers have received partial reimbursements, while others, like Tarnowski, have not recovered any of their funds. Former Illinois resident Zach Jacobs, who launched the website Fight for Our Funds, lost nearly $100,000 in the debacle. Wow, that is crazy. Man, it's like losing a house, Jacob said. It's terrible. I hadn't touched it in a while, so it was sort of out of sight, out of mind. It's almost an unfathomable amount of money to lose, especially to not lose it doing something risky. Exactly right. Evolve says more money is being returned, and its search for the missing funds remains ongoing. So if the search for the remaining fund remains ongoing, how are they paying back the victims? I don't know, but I guess if it's FDIC insured, well, likely they're probably looking at it on a case-by-case basis. There's ways to safeguard your savings. High-yield savings accounts are generally a low-risk option, such as money markets and that type of thing, and that can grow your savings and earn interest on the money that you may need in the next few years. But the Yata Evolve debacle highlights the importance of understanding the limitations of fintech apps and high-yield savings accounts. Many fintech apps partner with traditional banks, but these apps are not banks themselves. That means they do not offer the same protections and rely on third-party intermediaries, as seen in the Yata Evolve Synapse case. Whenever possible, open accounts directly with well-established banks. Exactly right. Good advice. Rather than relying on fintech apps to manage your deposits. You should always be skeptical of fintech apps that aren't FDIC insured. Exactly right. And to win prizes? I don't know. For saving? To me, something just seems strange about that. The FDIC insurance deposits up to $250,000 per depositor. That's what the insurance level is. However, coverage can become murky when third-party services are involved. Always verify whether your funds are held directly at an FDIC-insured bank and stay within the limits of the insurance. Keeping all of your money in one bank or app can be risky. Try spreading your savings across multiple financial institutions to reduce the impact of one encounters financial difficulties. It's especially important when dealing with fintech apps that rely on multiple partners to process transactions. So check your balance regularly to spot issues early. If you have problems against your account, call the customer support service and document all communications with the bank in case legal option is necessary. If the bank app can't resolve your issue, considering filing a complaint with the FDIC itself and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau or state banking regulators. While high-yield savings accounts at trusted banks are typically safe, it's essential to understand where and how your money is being held. By being cautious, apps staying within the FDIC insurance limits and monitoring your accounts closely, you can better protect yourself from potential losses. Now, they didn't mention anything else beyond this, but I think it's crucially important, folks, to have some cash, actual cash outside of the system in your possession. Now, there is risk for holding cash in your possession. And number one, you're kind of essentially setting yourself up for if there's ever a burglary or theft, they just take the cash and there's no way to get it back, right? So keep it secret, keep it safe, as is the case with anything in your home. And keep it fire protected as well. If you have a fire protected safe, put it in there. Find ways to store it so that it doesn't risk loss due to being burned up. Literally, that's for sure. We're already being burned up with the value of our dollar with inflation right now. But it is always important and good to have some cash outside of the banking system. And as to what amount that should be, I'll leave that up to you to decide based off of your own personal situation. But what happens if the power goes out? What happens if there's a bank closure? It's always good to have something to be diversified in that way as well. Now, because your money is not earning interest at a high yield savings account, having cash at home means that you're bleeding value. Every single day you hold it in your possession. It's still good to have some, though, just in the case of an emergency. It's worth it. And again, you're diversifying. You're not putting all of your money out of your bank. You're just having some of it, just in the case of the worst case scenario happens. That's number one. Number two, precious metals. Because over the long course of time, you can preserve your wealth of a losing dollar by having some precious metals on hand, gold and silver. Now, as you see here on the image in front of you, by the way, it's a moving image. They call that a video. When it moves like that, it's a video. Oh, man, it's a little shaky here, but bear with me. But, yeah, having both. I would say it's good to have both cash and gold and silver, precious metals and money. Both are money. This is unsound money. This is sound money. Over the length of time, gold and silver will preserve your wealth. And now most of you that are watching this video probably already know that and have some silver and gold in your possession. But it's good to balance that along with a little bit of cash. The ultimate in liquidity. There's nothing more liquid than cold, hard cash. I'm sorry, gold and silver aren't that liquid, believe it or not. Yes, they can be sold, but there are intermediaries that are needed. You can take your dollars and go into any store, any institution, and they're accepted anywhere and everywhere. There's something to be said for that, especially in an emergency. Now, gold and silver can also be used in an emergency, but there are some steps need to be taken for it. It's wealth outside of the system, including tied to the dollar. So there are drawbacks and benefits to both, which is why you should have both for such situations as that. And another way to think about it, you have your cash on hand so you don't have to liquidate the ultimate forms of savings, and that is gold and silver. So I hope these tips will be helpful, and thanks again to Tony Erickson for sharing this video with me, or sharing this story with me, rather. So I hope you found this informative, insightful, and useful. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.